If I had cancer, they tell me to pray and go see my oncologist.
Mm-hmm.
If I got high blood pressure, they tell me to pray and do what my doctor told me to do.
But if I'm depressed,
it's a demon, and I need prayer. Men died by suicide 3.9 times more than women. That's almost 4 times as much as women.
And these are 2021 stats?
These are 2021 stats.
So you realize that 2019, 2020, COVID-19 had these guys had to stay at home with their wives for a whole year. We out here.
If I'm mad that you won't let me do what I want to do in all levels, and then when I get there and I dominate, then my own people look at me and go, "You left us here."
Right.
Nigga, I didn't leave you, nigga. I thought this was the goal.
Because the thing is, we knew that we was gonna fucking dominate. We was better than them before.
As a man, if you can't take care of yourself, you don't deserve no coochie.
I agree.
That's to me. If you can't support yourself, you know the last thing you need to be worried about is getting laid.
Listen to what I'm saying to you though. Number one, the only reason I agree with that statement is because doing that could possibly produce a child that you can't take care of.
What's good, beautiful people? You hear that theme music, you see these beautiful faces. We are the Let's Get Canceled podcast. I am Tommy with an H. I'm the voice of the people. I speak for y'all.
And I'm your boy, Big Tech Dog, your favorite friendly, lovable, loud mouth. We back. Hey, yo, cousin.
Back. What up, cousin?
You ready?
We ready for season 2, cousin.
Let's get canceled.
Let's get canceled. All right, y'all. On tonight's episode, we're going to dive into a question. Has the church strayed too far from its roots? That's going to be our main topic for tonight. Now, we do want to say thank you all for an amazing season 1. Thank y'all for coming back in, messing with these two dudes. It's going to be an amazing season. And to start off the night, though, college football has returned. College football is back.
Hey, I got something for you. Something new for season 2.
What we got?
We got a countdown, sir. We're going to keep this concise. We're going to keep this concise. Sir, you have 5 minutes. Are you ready? And go.
We're doing this for y'all. All right, college football has returned. And I'm going to just start off right now by saying RIP to Florida State. That's all I'm going to say. Y'all know how I capped and caped for my guys all last year. I had a whole lot to say. Now, I ain't going to shut up, but I will say RIP to my Seminoles. Cousin.
Yeah, man.
Would you like to give an RIP also?
I would like to give an RIP to everybody in the FAMU athletics department. How about that?
No, not them yet. Not them yet.
No, we're not going there.
I'm going to give an RIP for you.
Okay.
I'm going to give an RIP to the University of Florida.
Let's skip that part.
Those Gainesville
skip that part.
Gators. I'm going to give an RIP to the Gainesville Gators because you guys had a moment this past weekend that was not so good. Now, Florida State, they had a game on Monday night, and that game in Dublin, Ireland against Georgia Tech. Like, again,
all right, look at the Irish.
Not a good look. Quarterback looked suspect. Defense looked soft. The running game was non-existent.
Right.
Coach seems like he did not understand what his personnel was. So Florida State, I'm just going to give you an RIP already. Start of the season. So we don't have to discuss them much more until they probably play the Gators again. I'll probably have the discussion with you about that game. We'll make a little bet. We'll make a little bet.
Okay, I'll talk about my Gators when I decide to watch. I've been busy this weekend. I kid you not, man. I got kids going off to school and stuff. I ain't watching no football. Yes,
congratulations to him.
Salute to Showtime, man. He's up there doing his thing, man. So we gonna do this big. And I got another one going to Thailand in November.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. So but college football is kicking in. And last year we talked a lot about Coach Prime. We talked a lot about Shador. We talked a lot about Travis. It seems like they came back this season, and those young men are locked in.
Listen, man, they put a line in front of Shador.
Gave him some time.
I think he might be a problem, a bigger problem.
I think they definitely had a lot better game plan going in. I know it was against an FCS opponent, but North Dakota State is a damn good team.
Yeah.
They are a veteran team. They are a team that's been together. They are a team that is potential national champions on the FCS level. They're contenders every year. So to have them be able to stand in there with a makeshift line they just brought in, only give up one sack. Shador goes in for 445 yards. Travis may have had the catch of the year already in week one. He may have already had the touchdown of the year in week one. So I'm going to give a big shout out to those guys. I'll be looking to root for those Colorado Buffaloes for a little bit. I still don't think they're going to win more than 6 games, but I'm still going to give them a little bit of a 2 clap.
I'm gonna tell you now, the shine and the sheen of last season has worn off a bit, and so now I'm going to look at it a little bit more realistically. And I think I'm agreeing with you. We're looking at about 5 or 6 wins this season.
Yeah.
I'm not super familiar with their entire schedule, but just from what I glanced at, it looks like I think they're going to look a lot better this season. Yeah, I think they're going to look a lot cleaner this season because last season a lot of their wins was just based off of sheer will of like a Shador making some crazy plays come out.
And they're not going to sneak up on anybody this year. Last year, they snuck up on the first couple teams.
Right.
This year, everybody knows what they're doing. So I don't expect them to have a major season, but I do expect them to make a bowl game. And that's going to be huge from a team that went 1-11 to a team that went 4-8 to a team that should now be bowl eligible in Coach Prime's second year. So, so I'm looking for that to happen this year. And the HBCU national champions are still doing their thing.
They are.
Still winning.
You know what they're not doing?
But there has been a change, and now you can go ahead and have your moment.
Man, let me tell y'all something. So some of y'all don't know, and I'm going to do this real quick because I got 44 seconds. So look, I got my boy Sterling Stevenson. He was the voice of Bragg. Yeah. Everybody loved him, and then the stupid AD decides that she wants to try and find a new public address announcer. She put this thing up. Y'all went nuts. The alumni, the faculty, everybody went nuts. And next thing I know, I get a text message from that guy that says, hey, the new president fired everybody. Everybody. But when it all boils down, man, they hired somebody else anyway. So my boy Sterling is not the voice of Bragg anymore, but I will tell you this. I'm still riding with my dog, and when 100%. This new dude messes up, my boy's back in there like swimming.
We're going to bring Sterling back.
Bring Sterling back.
But even if he doesn't end up as the voice of Bragg, we're going to bring him on the pod. And we're going to let him break this all the way down because now there's no reason for him not to. So we're going to bring the homie on and let him air his grievances out. This is a Festivus moment around this month.
Most definitely. But you know what, though? He was still good because he was down in Miami at the Orange Blossom Classic this past weekend. So, yeah, shout out to my boy Sterling, man. I appreciate you, bro. We gonna keep on grinding. All right, man.
We always gonna grind. Yeah. Now, cousin. We left at the end of July.
We did.
And there was a month where I missed everybody so much. We came back in and said our thank yous and all that, but we missed something. We missed the Olympics.
We did miss the Olympics.
We missed talking about the Olympics. So we're gonna bring our 5 minutes. We're gonna give us 5 minutes on the Olympics. And what I want to discuss, it's only gonna be 5.
Are you ready?
Yep,
ready?
Let's do it.
Here we go. 5 minutes. Go for it.
All right. Sha'Carri, great job, baby girl. Great job. You got
Absolutely.
You got your chance to compete, and you went out there and did the damn thing. So I applaud you. I think she got a silver medal somewhere. She got a gold on the 4x1 squad. So Sha'Carri, I definitely want to give you your props. Noah, you came out there and said a whole lot. And that 100-meter, oh boy, you represented well. But I think you talked a little bit too much. You were out and about a little too much. Ended up with COVID. That 200 did not end up going your way. But again, USA. Simone, you still the GOAT.
Of course.
No matter what. Simone, you are the GOAT. We appreciate you for everything that you are. I hope you do not retire, because I think you got about 3 more years of flips in you.
Probably.
And then an Olympics. So please give us that. Now,
right.
USA basketball.
Yes, sir. We almost got our butts kicked to South Sudan.
South Sudan.
Yeah, South Sudan gave us a run for our money, but everybody else was just it was what was expected.
It was. And there was a great gold medal game against France. Victor Wembanyama put the world on notice. That young man is going to be a problem for years to come.
Yes, sir.
However, I do believe that Team USA can put together another gold medal team for 28.
Oh yeah, because
without LeBron, without KD, without Steph, I still think they'll be able to put one together.
Well, you got to watch. My boy from Orlando, Banchero. You watch him, and it's a lot of young talent in the NBA right now, bro. That's going to be a problem, and they seem like they got their head on straight. So I think I like it. I'm liking that.
And I'm thinking Ant-Man, Book. Hopefully they'll let Kyrie come play. You'll have your Chet Holmgren coming out there. You got the Cooper Flag kid. I think that's his name. So there's going to be a squad that comes out there, and that flag football will be there. I don't know if they're going to allow the NFL guys to come, but USA should still be able to play football and basketball pretty well. But the one story that came out of the Olympics that everyone was talking about was the homie.
Yeah, there was one person that we was talking about.
You see her. That she was the star of the Olympics. Y'all don't.
She is killing it.
Y'all ain't
she is hitting.
Y'all ain't messing with Ray Gun.
Bro, they don't understand. You don't understand. You don't understand what it is, bro. Like, what it is that Ray Gun came out there and said, you know what, forget y'all. This is what I want to do. This is how I feel inside.
This is what hip hop is to me.
Speaking of, this is what she said. This is what they said about that. This is from Martin Gillian, said in defense of the athlete. Breaking is all about originality and bringing something new to the table. And that is exactly what Reagan was doing. She got commended by the Australian Prime Minister for having a go. Bro,
she had a go. She had us going,
that
too.
ain't the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Bro,
in my entire life.
She had us going. But there were a lot of narratives out there that got debunked, because a lot of people were saying that her and her husband put together the Olympic Committee there on their side. So they came out, and the committee statement debunked the number of claims made in the petition, outlining the judging panel qualifying event for Gunn was consisting of 9 independent international judges. Also stated that Gunn held no position with the bodies that conducted the event.
Right, and I don't know that this is any better, because that means that she got in there legitimately. That means
she beat somebody.
Right. That means some people sat and watched her and said, you know what? You're the one that's going to go represent us in the Olympics.
She's a bad mama jamma. Look at her. Look at her. And it also says, again, outlined that Gunn was legitimately nominated after winning the qualifying event, and there were no appeals from any other competitors. So that means everybody who lost to her felt she was better than us.
That's sad. That's very sad. But I will tell you this.
If that's what you're doing, if that's how you're going to represent.
Let me tell you something, man.
She had to go.
Do you remember me and you had a full-on argument on this show about black people going into white spaces and competing with them instead of bringing it back and competing at home?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I will agree with you on that is that this is why we got to stop letting white people do everything. That was ridiculous. We can't let them do we can't stop being so embracing and loving of people, because you really and truly that was sad.
Y'all want to invite everybody to the cookout, and I think the homie Ebony said it. We ain't got to invite them all to the cookout. Sometimes we just need to bring them a plate.
Right. And you know what? I've literally sat down with one of the originators from the Rocksteady crew. His name is Peewee Dee.
Yeah.
We sat and talked, bro. For hours, actually for 2 days straight. Like we hung out one night, and then it was like, yo, what you doing tomorrow? Yo, listen, old man, we gotta, but we was all out. But anyway, yeah. He was explaining to me, he was like, yo, this is us. This is a culture. We gotta hold something sacred. And I agree with him. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind other people doing it if they're going to do it at a high level and take it seriously. The problem is I think that she thought she was taking it seriously, and the other people who saw her decided, okay, yeah, that's serious enough, and nobody checked her. So anyway,
until she got on the international stage and we realized this is a farce.
This is too much. All right, so
no reason she should be there.
So listen, man, that does it for our preliminary stuff, bro. Let's get down to the nitty gritty.
Let's get down to it, man.
Yes, sir. So you posed the question at the top of the show, and that's going to be our main topic for tonight. Has the church strayed too far away from its roots?
Right.
I guess my question to you is, what's your opinion on that? What do you think?
For me, again, I believe in my life, the way that I was brought up in the church, it was the traditional way. I was brought up to believe certain things. I was taught that the way that this book, this Bible that we read daily, it's a rule book, and there
daily?
are things that we
daily. You read the Bible daily?
We went to church.
Every day. You're talking in past tense. Okay.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Proceed.
I said red. I know I said red. I'm pretty sure I said red. Yeah. It was a lot of days. Yeah, we had some.
Yeah, that's true. Yes,
yeah. So it's just one of those things where those traditional values that we held. As I got older, I started to realize that certain things were not all books. Some things were doctrine for the particular sect we were in. However, I do think right now that everybody's getting an out. Everybody is getting to their interpretation of this book, and it's a little too far from what it was.
The standard has changed.
Definitely. Now, do I think that it's a bad thing? Not necessarily. And here's why. I don't think it's the worst thing, because you get people in based off of a false narrative in certain cases. But once they're in there, they start to learn the truth. So like you have some of these singers, right? That go out here and will tell you everything. Like they go out and they sing these amazing songs, and it sounds like Earth, Wind, and Fire.
It does.
But it makes you listen, and you're like, oh, that's gospel music. That's God. So it draws you in a little bit, because it shows up on your radio station. It shows up on your R&B station. So now it's just become a part of your day. So now you start to hear God. So it may draw you into someone's church at some point. Even though it's a flawed messenger, you get the message that draws you in. And once you get in, you start to hear the truth. Now that's where it becomes the personal thing for the listener, because now you go into this church, and are you listening for the truth, or are you listening for what you heard on the radio? And are you following behind the person you heard on the radio?
You have the answer to you don't even have to ask that question. You know good and well you following what you heard on the radio. Like the only reason you would listen to something and then go somewhere is to have more of whatever you just heard. You know what I'm saying? That's like me hearing a hip hop track from I've never heard of Miley Cyrus, and Miley Cyrus does a hip hop track, and I go, yo, I'm gonna go to the Miley Cyrus concert. I'm looking for that. I ain't looking for the rest of the stuff she's doing, and I don't know that she wasn't doing all the rest of that stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So,
but if you hear something while you're there that gives you a feeling like, oh, this is the true Miley Cyrus, I like that song. What she say? Is she the wrecking ball girl?
I think she's the wrecking ball girl. Yeah.
Yeah, wrecking ball is dope. So I come to hear hip hop from Miley Cyrus, but I hear wrecking ball like, oh man, that's kind of nice. So I will stick around and hear more, and I may become a fan of it. But if I'm listening to these messengers, because there are a lot of Christian messengers that will tell you that you get to do any and everything. And
but do you? Don't you? All right. So here's before we get deep into that, I'm going to put it to you like this. To answer the prompt of has the church strayed too far away from its roots? No. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Have they strayed far away from the roots? Yes. Is it too far? As in, I think that's gone too. I don't think so. And when I say the church, I mean the church in general. So
right.
And
because
of course,
there are certain people that will take you to places. Yeah.
I'm talking about the traditional black church. Now, here's the problem with that. You get some of these white boys who are doing black church.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I wish I would have got the clip of Rod Parsley trying to hoop. It was hilarious because he said, and it was terrible, bro. It was hilarious. But anyway, so the problem is that I think you alluded to this a minute ago. We grew up in a church where everything was a sin. Everything you were going to hell for. Everything. And then what happened was you get older and you start to read for yourself, and then you realize like, oh, some of this is just traditional. Some of this stuff y'all just don't like. So it's all good. And here's my take on it. If I'm going to be a part of the job, if I'm going to be a part of an organization, then I should adhere to that organization's guidelines, right?
Right.
They didn't come and steal me out my bed. You know what I'm saying? I'm grown now. Now, back in the day, I had to go because my daddy said go. Right. But now I'm grown, and I still go. And it's like, you know what? I understand where they're coming from, and there are things that I feel like are just traditional. I'll give you an example. I've been at church, and there's still churches where women can't wear pants. You know what I'm saying? Don't wear no makeup. You know what I'm saying? Your skirt got to be all the way down to the floor.
Right.
And that's disappointing sometimes. But the problem is like they focus on that, right? To the point where what if this person is just going through something? You dig what I'm saying? What if I'm having a rough day and I come in as a rough day as a dude and I got earrings in my ear as a dude? I walk in and instead of you recognizing I'm having a rough day, you worried about what I got in my ear. You dig what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that's the problem. And so have they strayed too far? No, it's not. In some instances, I don't think it's far enough. Now, what brought this subject up, me and you were talking, we saw this interview with Kirk Franklin.
Right. Yes.
And the way he was talking about his experience, it was jarring at some points, but then some points it was refreshing. Because like his son is, you have you seen his son? He was on this show called what is it? Bad Boys or something like that. Bad Boys or something like that on Zeus or something like that, right?
Okay. I try to stay away from that kind of stuff.
Not me, but anyway, we'll talk about another thing.
Probably it's some colored people stuff, man.
It is, but he's on there, and it comes out that he plays for both teams. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh,
and so. That's what, and when Cam asked Kirk about that, he's like, we saw that, like, how did you react to your son coming out as, or whatever it was? And he was just like, I look at it like this. I told him that you're my son and I love you, and there is no choice that you can make that's going to change that. And those are the facts. And it's just like, okay, bet. There's some things that I do that my parents don't like. Both my daddy's a preacher and my mama's in the church, and like so there's the stuff that they just don't like. But you know what? There's never a question as to whether they love me.
Indeed.
And that's where we run into these problems with people in churches now, that you've gotten so enmeshed in what you believe is or isn't right or wrong that you end up shitting on your own people.
Right, and that's the thing with where I feel like the church is going too far, because now it's not about loving them and hating the sin. Now it's all about embracing them and accepting. And I think that's where things have gone too far away from the roots. The root was come as you are, but you're not going to stay that way here.
Right.
We're not going to allow you to be in position. We're going to try to guide you to where we see this religious and this Christian life to lead. So where we are now is come as you are, stay as you are, live as you want to, and you're gonna be accepted anyway. God doesn't accept your mess. God hates. He hates the sin. He loves you. He hates the sin in you. So he says come as you are, but he never says stay. He never says stay as you are. And that's where I think the church is trying to allow everyone to come in and everyone just, hey, be whoever you want to be, do whatever you want to do, because God's going to love you anyway. God is definitely going to love you, but he still will send you to hell.
I think they need to stand on whatever they stand on. Like,
but they won't stand on it
whatever
anymore.
your standard is. I don't really care what your standard is. Whatever your standard is, stand on that.
Stand on it.
Stay
100%.
Say it with your chest,
100%.
nigga. But you know what?
but
let me ask you. Wait. No. Let me ask you a question. I'm gonna ask you a question. Can you name 3 things that you thought growing up was a sin? No, just give me one. One thing that you thought growing up was a sin that you realized as an adult is not.
Kissing.
I
remember the lady who told me this. I can't call her name. Rest in peace to this lady.
She ain't that young.
Yeah, sure. She ain't here no more. But we didn't like her anyway. We thought she was the most evil person in the world. And she's talking about you kissed and you're going to hell. Oh,
really?
Definitely. Oh yeah,
really?
Definitely. So I was going straight to hell. And this is
never thought that.
So she embedded this in us through years and years of catching us. So we were all going to hell, get on the altar and GG to death.
Yo, my pastor said he like to say that they had me on my knees talking about some called Jesus, and I was down there GG. They said his name is not Gigi.
But that is definitely GG till you get the foaming out the side of your mouth and and all this stuff here, and that was just one of those situations. Let me see. Girls wearing lipstick, they couldn't wear. I think it was red lipstick.
Red was bad. That was the harlot.
Yeah, the harlot. Right. Boys, men having earrings in.
Oh God,
that was definitely a no because a man should dress as a man and a woman there are ways that they do things.
This is the thing, bro. Like, all right, so I did my own research, right? So like I'm looking at it like, okay, if you believe something, right, and then you're given evidence to the contrary of what you believe, why is it a sin for you to say, oh, I had that wrong? I'll give you an example. Men dressing as men. Women not wearing pants. Well, ladies and gentlemen, men used to wear dress type clothes, like dresses,
right.
That thing, that cassocks, robes, and cassocks, and all this other stuff. Women,
your preachers still wear robes to this day,
right? And some of your preachers are prancing. Anyway, I'll get past that. So when women had on the knickerbockers, and they had the like they were made for men and women. So now that you know that, preacher man, and women wearing pants is that still wrong? Or do you say, you know what, I didn't understand the history of that, so I'm going to change? Because I'm not asking you to change what the Bible said. I'm asking you to change what you said, nigga.
Right. And what they come back with is it's still something that's happening in the world. We don't like it because we want to be separate. And it's always come out from among them and be separate.
You don't get to tell me that. You don't get to tell me that you can't wear those pants because the men are wearing pants. No, it's not. That's the thing. It's you told me that I can't. The young lady can't wear pants because they were made for men. Well, now you know that those weren't made for men. Those originally weren't made for men. They were made for women. So why don't you change? Oh, well, it's like the world. No, nigga, you the one who applied it to the world. In the beginning, you said it was the world, right?
And that's the thing with a lot of church doctrine. It's not necessarily that it comes from the Bible, but it's something that's too close to what they're doing over there. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to be like them. And there's a lot of preachers who everything that you're doing is too much like them. You got religions that won't let you go play baseball. They said you can't go to movies because you couldn't be entertained by things and you're going to end up with a carnal mind and all that kind of stuff.
That same preacher got on 14-karat gold, driving a Mercedes, all worldly stuff. Why you ain't riding a bike, nigga? Where's your donkey?
Hey, man. This is his version of the donkey. Hey, they got all them horses under my hood.
It's a donkey. Get yourself a donkey. Don't get a donk. Go get a
all them horses under my hood. Those are my donkeys. But then you have your preachers out here that are your celebrity preachers.
Yeah,
they're partying with the guys. They're out there drinking. Like, and that's another thing coming from the religion that we were a part of. You couldn't. You never didn't see anybody drinking. Mm-mm. Definitely nobody was going to be smoking. Curse words were a no-no. And then you go to see other religions. Like if you go to your friends' churches, you come out of their church and they pastor and deacon boys sitting over there firing off squares all night.
They Baptists
with a bottle.
That's what Baptists. Hey, so let me tell you like this though. I used to I had a white homeboy, and I go hang out at his crib. And then one day I was over there at his house, and his mom comes out and she's like, "Hey, Father so and so is coming," like the priest from the Catholic Church. Mm-hmm. Right? He's coming. So I start to flip because outside is all these cigarette butts and ashtrays and we got blunt guts everywhere. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm trying to hurry up and clean up. And he came out. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, bro, the preacher coming. We can't have all this stuff out here. Like, he's like, man, whatever. He's like, they're going to go in there and have dinner. And then him and dad are going to come out here on the porch and they're going to have a pipe together.
Right.
Like tobacco pipe, but a pipe nonetheless. I was like, bro, when I tell you I was inside, y'all, I was inside the house, and when they were sitting out on the front porch, I was in the blinds like, I cannot, but it was amazing to me because, all right, so I can see the deacon doing it, but that's like my pastor, or better yet, the priest, or father so-and-so, that's like the bishop coming and firing up in the back. It's like, wait a minute. And
but these are all things in our experience that are forbidden, gonna get you hell bound because you are defaming the temple that you are. However, with these other religious sects, it's acceptable and it's no big deal. And now, is it who's right, who's wrong? Is there more of a blending of it now? Is there more of an understanding of who's going to heaven, who's not, based on traditional values and people getting a better understanding? Or is it just nobody cares anymore?
That's a good question. I don't have a direct answer for it, but I do have. I know that there is more of a blending where people are starting to go, you know what, I can think now, because you got to remember, back in the day, we didn't have internet where you can research and do all this. You know what I'm saying? Like at the tip of your fingers right now, I got all the computing power in the world in my back pocket. You understand what I'm saying? So you understand, like, some of the stuff that they've been telling you is just like, that's garbage. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I won't say that it's bad. I'm just saying that it's not what you told me it was. Where you asserted that it was God's word, when in reality, you took God's word and decided, you know what, in order for him to be able to meet this standard, I got to put these other restrictions because I don't see how he's going to be able to meet this standard and still be able to do this stuff. Right.
And I think a little bit of it also was that there was a time when the black preachers, especially, they came up, they couldn't read.
Right.
They have no idea what this book actually says. Somebody is telling them what it says. They've gone through, and this is just coming down from master them to grandpa and them to my daddy and them to me now. So now we are all just getting these stories brought down to us, and these disciplines that are brought down to us that have no basis in fact. And now, like you said, you have all the information in front of you, so you're able to actually read it, research it, find out what some of these words actually mean now, as opposed to what the original guy thought. So now a lot of these old school pastors who are dying off, have not been able to pass down everything.
You know why? You know why they haven't been able to pass it down? Because they got power hungry. And so now instead, you remember we got an uncle.
Mm-hmm.
We got an uncle, and at one point, our uncle and this other preacher were like the new, young, hot preachers in the state. And they was everybody wanted them to come to their church and preach, blah, 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 blah. But that was back when we had older preachers who would put younger preachers out and let them go fly out, like go get them.
Yeah.
Now, them saying that next generation is like, no, I'm gonna hold on to this power because now it's become very lucrative to be a preacher.
Right.
In some instances.
In some instances, yeah.
And it's become very lucrative to be a preacher. So instead of training and cultivating a new crop of young people, you're just holding on to all the power, and then all of a sudden you die. And now we got people fighting over the church.
And now they're fighting over power. There's a power vacuum there, and we've seen it in a few churches around the state where you have church boards and pastors and assistant pastors literally fighting each other over who this belongs to.
That's true.
And that is another thing where there was a time where we come together and we'll vote this thing out and we'll let the chips fall where they may. Now, I will say this, as a youngster, I did go to the national convention and I did see a change of bishop take place. I was there for a vote with Grandpa and my pops.
Really?
And I watched.
Oh, wait, you told me about this, I think.
And superintendents and pastors
Yeah.
fighting and cursing each other out and getting after it. And I sit there with my dad, like, how are these the leaders? And Pops just said they're men. He was like, the one thing you have to understand about everybody in this church, they're all human beings. They're all men. So they are all fallible. So don't ever put your trust 100% in the man. God may give them a word, but they are still men. So that's one thing that I carried with me from a young age. So anytime I see a preacher fall, so when you get the popular preachers going through it right now because they've been caught or suspected of doing things, I have to give them a level of grace there because you are simply a man. And I have never held you to a standard of more than that. You may present yourself as more than that, but I'm always going to be able to laugh at you because you are simply a man. You are not God. You may be someone that God speaks through because God said he'll speak through an ass. If you won't do it, the rocks will cry out. So it's always going to be, you know what I'm saying? It's always going to be somebody that's fallible that may be giving you the message. So I'm going to always crack the joke. I'm never going to take him too seriously. I'm not going to damn him, but I will definitely crack a couple jokes about him.
But see, that's the thing. Like we grew up holding people in certain positions to the standard that's unsustainable. Unsustainable.
Yes,
absolutely unsustainable.
Definitely.
I have had the chance, my dad being a deacon when I was growing up. With him being a deacon, I've been involved in a whole lot of, or heard or seen a whole lot, especially when it comes around finances. And what I realized is that the same problems that men have outside of the church, men have inside the church.
Right.
Those things being money and women.
Yes.
Let's be real. Like if dudes have a problem, and if you've got that problem, all right, oh, God saved me. I'm happy for you.
Right.
But guess what you can't do? You know what I'm saying? I'm ain't gonna leave you around with all this money.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or and it happens, bro. But so, and I'm the type of dude that's like, okay, cool. I see you. I see what you did. I don't really care what it is that you did for the most part, as long as it involved like little kids and nothing like that. Right. But I don't care what you did. I want to see what you do after it's found out. Or did you bring it out? You know what I'm saying? Did you say something? Say, hey, you know what? I screwed this up. I got a little over my head, and I was tempted, and I did it.
I was a man,
right? And this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to address. You know, I don't need you to quit the church. I don't need you to go sit down for a year. I just need you to chill out, and I need you to. All right, cool.
Not do that. Not make the same mistake twice.
Right. Right, because after that, if it happens again, then it's like, or if like 30 more chicks come out and you agree to say, yeah, I did all that. Well, guess what?
It's just who you are.
Now you've got a habit, and maybe you need to go seek some real help. But all this fake sit down with the board, and they're helping me through a redemption plan. Man, if you don't get out of my face with that crap, nigga, go sit down. People do make mistakes.
Yes, they do.
I always talk about my sons, man. I told my sons, like, they're teenagers. They do dumb stuff. And I told them, like, I expect you to do dumb stuff. Understand that I'm your daddy, so you need to expect me to be mad about it and fuss. But that don't change anything. Like, I was your age a long time ago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I've been a dude my entire life.
And I've done all of the dumb stuff that you're doing. All of it.
Right. Every bit of it. And some of the stuff that I'm glad that you haven't figured out how to do yet.
Not figured out yet, right? Because I'm pretty. And a lot of the stuff you're doing right now, I did it a lot better because I ain't have the internet to get me in trouble.
Nigga, I saw a fight my son was in, and I said, boy, you lucky that boy can't fight, because you can't fight either. I am not joking, bro. I told him that straight to his face.
But but that might be a good thing, because when you know how to fight, you go out there and box. When you go out there and box, when you know how to box, everything look like a nail to a hammer, dog. Everything look like a nail.
I know how to fight. I know how to fight right now. I'm not trying to fight nobody.
But how many times did you go out when you were younger, before you got this old age to you? I'm gonna say old age to you. How many times as a youngster did you know I can fight? So I'm not gonna allow him to say anything before, instead of being diplomatic.
You know what? That's neither here nor there. Let's move on. No,
and that's the thing. So sometimes it's best not to know how to fight, because you learn how to use your words a little bit better.
That's true.
So let your kid use his words, man. You don't need them out there boxing and everything, because nowadays kids don't box anyway. They shoot. They can't take L's. They can't take L's these days. So
I have gotten. Never mind. We ain't going down that road.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So
now,
wait.
Mm-hmm. So, what's the worst thing that you ever did during or around a church event?
Not hearing this one ever. Not the worst. The worst. Not
okay,
the worst.
A bad one. Don't give me the worst one.
I'll give you a bad one. Me.
All right.
We were at state convention. Me and my dog Dirt.
Always at state conventions.
Yeah, we at state down in Orlando. Me and my dog Dirt. We show up early in the week. Drop us off. I think I'm like 17. So they drop us off. We got our own room. We hanging out. We decide the day before we show up, hey man, we got to go get some reefer. We go to the homie. The homie you remember the long incense? The long incense. Buddy done stuffed one of them for us. So we get down there. We got a box of Phillies. We sitting there rolling up. We just blowing. Next thing you know, we realize, like, people keep walking by the door making noise, like, oh, we ain't put the towel down. So we throw the towel down, just try to keep the reefer smell from
too late.
Right, it's way too late for that. So my father, in his brilliance, decides to send one of the ministers up to the room to check on us. He gives this man the other key, man.
Oh God.
So, however, me and Dirt hear somebody playing at the door. We go and hit the top latch, run off in the bathroom, turn on the shower, and we just sitting there. So Buddy is in there, door unlocked. He keep pushing the door like, yo, I know y'all in there. Dog, we stayed in that bathroom about 45 minutes. Like, we are not coming
You didn't think about what he might have thought? Because, like, if I come to the door to check on the kids and my son and his homeboy is in there, and now all of a sudden the top latch is locked and ain't nothing, I don't hear nothing but the shower running. Hey, and nobody's answering me? Nigga, we got some quick. I would kick that door off the hinges.
Bruh came up there, was like, man, he was like, the whole hallway smells like reefer. I'm talking about, this is the state convention, the whole hallway. We in the church hotel. Like, that was one of those ones. Like I say, I'm not giving you. If y'all
don't know, this church convention, whatever, it don't even matter what year it was, you can just believe that it was a very nice hotel. Yeah. And there was a whole lot of suits and big hats walking around. Yeah. And this nigga forgets the one cardinal thing when you're in a hotel: put a towel
under the
door.
Mystical ain't tell me that yet. He ain't tell me that part. Oh, but bro, like, this is when Grandpa. This when Grandpa was superintendent still. So everybody knows who we are.
That's a problem. That's always been the problem. That's always been the problem.
And I think Pastor Shepherd was the bishop at the time. So my home pastor is the bishop. So one night, me and Dirk sitting downstairs. It's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. He comes back in after they finally leave church, leave all this here, and he walks around like, "What y'all still doing up?" We're like, "Nah, man, we just chilling, man. We waiting on some things from around there." So the next day during service, he was like, "Yeah, it's 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Where are your kids? I saw a little Cobra, a little Cannon downstairs talking about they just chilling." So I'm like, bruh, I get the call.
To do that to you.
I get the call from home, Pops, like, "Boy, what are y'all doing?" First of all, you've already had the incident where you got the whole hotel smelling like reefer. Now you got the entire state with your last name. Your grandfather is superintendent. So now they're looking at superintendent. Dirk's mom is missionary. So now everybody knows who we are.
Wait. Really?
Yeah.
Have I met her?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Bruh, I'm telling dog, this is
shout out Dirk.
Shout out to the homie Dirk, man. But this was a bad time. And I'm talking about that especially that year. Like, there have been a whole lot of things that happened. Shout out to homie Biz. The classic moment with Biz on the elevator, bro. Love my dude.
Biz was trying to get every black girl on the. Anyway,
your turn. It's your turn. I gave you my list.
Oh, man. I ain't gonna give you the worst because
we ain't giving. No, we are not. Our parents are still around, and they will still,
buddy. And they'll remember that year. They'll be like, "I knew it."
They will still thump.
I'll tell you what. You came down one year, and neither one of us had any reefer, and I think we strapped up and we was gonna walk over to y'all know. Central Florida folks, y'all know we was down at a hotel right by the arena. So if you know Orlando, the arena was right here. This is back before they built the new one, but the new one is just a couple blocks up. But right there, and then right across the street from that, on one side is going towards downtown. On the other side, it was Paramore. Nobody don't go just walking around in Paramore. You know what I'm saying? This is where. Paramore, just so you understand, Paramore is where when Plies first came out, he was doing, what song was it? I want to say it was Shawty with T-Pain. Maybe not that one. I might be wrong. But either way, he came down and went to Paramore, and we happened to be over there, me, D, and Biz. He went to Paramore, and it was a whole thing on the radio, like, "Oh, yo, everybody come down to be in the video, blah, blah, blah." Niggas is out there, and he put all them niggas in the house. And, like, security was like, everybody got to go back in the house. Right in front of the projects, he had actors get off the bus. So all them thugs that you see, and don't none of them niggas live over there. That was real.
That nigga had to import thugs?
He imported thugs because real thugs might have slapped him. Because the thing was, Plies was just telling his brother's stories.
Right.
And he went about that. But anyway, so yeah, we was going to do that. But then we almost had a riot at one convention, right? So I think you was there. It was me. My brother was there. I feel like Michael might have been there. I don't know, but either way, it was a few of us, right? And there's one other family. Y'all remember that other preacher I said used to run out my uncle? Man. He was the other young preacher.
So, we was about to go.
Yeah, bro. So we down there, and his son.
You know why that started? Do you know why that started for real?
Because y'all was trying to get at their sister, like everybody, everybody.
No, but the thing is, she was trying to get at, us, and we were just we were receptive.
Too receptive. Every time a Cobra gets receptive, it becomes a problem.
You're right. But dog, it wasn't Mike that was there. It was the homeboy RC. It was the homeboy RC that came down with another one of the churches. So me, you, Dirt, Doc, the homeboy RC, and I forgot who else it was. But yeah, it was about to get active. It was elevators.
Yeah, because we was gonna just go ahead and handle business, and I think, and this is something that I've dealt with my entire life, and now I'm kind of settled into it because people make assumptions about you based on your background. Like they make assumptions because you go to church. Like I'm in church, like this is not an exaggeration. I'm in church every Sunday,
Yeah.
usually on Tuesdays for rehearsals and sometimes on Wednesdays for Bible study. I am a strong believer. I participate in church. I do a lot of stuff. None of those people are watching this podcast. But see, and
not yet.
Right. This goes back to our original prompt though, because they're not watching this podcast not because I think that it's wrong. It's because they will look at it and judge based on their interpretation of what goes on in the Bible or what they've been taught, their traditions. So if they come on now, I think there's certain things that me as a regular person and believer should adhere to that are different than someone who's a pastor or a bishop or a preacher, because those are different levels, and that's spelled out in the Bible too, but we ain't gonna get on that. But people have their own judgments, and they act on what they believe to be right and wrong. So when I say that I don't think we've gone far enough, what I'm saying is that not necessarily the standard where I think where you're coming from with the standards. I'm saying from the standpoint of starting to get away from all of the traditional stuff as a mandate. I feel like everybody has, our family has traditions, and there's just certain things that you do certain ways. You understand what I'm saying? And I completely agree with that. But the moment that somebody doesn't adhere to that tradition, are they going to hell? Now, when you start saying that, that's when I'm thinking we ain't made it far enough.
Right. And with that portion of what you say, I completely agree, because there are certain parts of the doctrines that come along with these religions that need to be left where they were. There are certain things that it makes no sense at all as far as what the book says. So if it's not something that's got anything to do with the book, if it's simply just because you don't like the way it looks or they didn't like the way it looked in the beginning, certain things you just got to let go. Certain things you just got to let fall to the wayside and let it be what it's going to be. So I definitely understand where you come from with that, but I do think that in certain ways the church has taken itself to a point where there may not be a point of any return. I saw a guy come out and was like, hey, the Bible doesn't explicitly say there's no sex before marriage. That's not anywhere in the Bible, so it's okay to do it. And I'm like, well, there's this passage that says this passage that says that. So maybe, that's the difference between adultery and fornication. So maybe it goes a long way in a lot of things.
And that's what pisses me off right there. Because now I don't agree with justifying your actions just so you can keep doing it so you're not wrong. Because when it all boils down, I always look at it from the standpoint of, is Jesus going to be mad about this? You understand what I'm saying? Right. And that's the final say on all that.
But here's the thing that gets me with it all is, and that's why I'm talking about the church in general, because now there are way too many leaders that are saying things are okay. And that's where I say the church has gone a little too far, because now they're just like, whatever you want to do, just do it. Just come in here, because a lot of them are seeking your tithes and offering. So they don't really care about your soul. And that's where the church has lost a lot of it, because praising the Lord, giving honor, telling people about him, and being a good person is no longer a part of the word. Now it's God's going to bless you, sow into this, buy me a plane, get me a car. Like, preachers in our lives have been some of the poorer people that we have known.
Ain't they though? God, dog.
They come in there, and every dollar that comes into their church, they put back into their church. They put back into their ministry. They put back into their congregation. And everyone's always talking about, oh, these pastors out here for the money. Well, I don't know any of them.
Right.
And
I don't know them niggas.
And I know a gang of pastors.
Right.
And this gang of pastors, I know their congregations, they drive what they drive because they go to work.
But here's the thing. I remember, people see the outside and don't realize all the stuff that go behind the scenes. How many times did you sit at Granddaddy house after Sunday and know how much he put in the offering, and then go back home, and now it's got to be clean up time. We got to get all this stuff together, and the church need this, and got to pay this bill, got to pay that bill, got to get all this other stuff, and we over here snapping peas and all this other stuff just so we have something to eat. And then sister so-and-so down the street she done got sick or her husband just died or whatever. So guess what? That food I was just about to eat, that's going down the street.
Going down the road.
And now we gonna get these bologna sandwiches real quick because that's what a pastor does. And then the minute that they get something new, look at that. He flossing around. Nigga, he done spent the last 2 years grinding this out for you. My granddad was a school administrator. He was a teacher.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm like, he did his thing.
But he was a pastor of like 3 churches. So this dude is driving from where he lived to go visit sick and shut in 20, 30 miles this way, 20, 30 miles this way, still coming back home, going to work the next day. I'm out of gas, but I'm not taking no money from the church to put in my gas tank. Baby, we got to figure this part out. So that's one of those things where I'm like, the majority of the pastors that you see don't live that life. But when you see them on television, the ones you see on television, the ones that are the most public, those are the ones that everybody equates all the rest of them to.
But do you have a problem with those preachers? You got a problem with those preachers? Because like they're like, all right, so to me,
it depends. It all depends on what they're preaching.
To me, T.D. Jakes, Joel Osteen, and they're very Stephen Furtick. They're very good motivational speakers.
They're good. Yeah, they preach good.
And now I heard T.D. Jakes when he comes over to our conventions, he preaches for real. Yeah. But the majority of stuff that I watch on TV or of him in service and stuff is really general and broad and like everything is going to be okay. Now,
I remember TD from when I was like 13, 14 years old. Like I remember him from
You remember Jerry Curl TD.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, wait. Now, I like those guys. Oh, but there's this preacher online. This nigga named Gino Jennings.
Gino, boy.
Gino does not like these niggas, bro.
At all. And he calls everybody out.
Yep.
Don't
now,
care.
Now, the thing about Gino, if you have not seen a clip of Gino Jennings, like understand, all right, so check this out, y'all. Imagine I'm getting ready to preach, right? And right on the side of me is a little man who's sitting down. He got his Bible out, right? While I'm preaching, before I can get to what I'm getting ready to say, he got already started calling out the scripture. Like he done started reading. And thus saith the Lord. Hear me what I say. I'm telling you, Gino Jennings is the truth. Here's the thing.
What we saying earlier, old boy, is the spliff star.
Gino Jennings split is bust, and that dude is spliff star. Like when I tell you they be doing.
That boy is Flavor Flav, man. He is the greatest hype man in the history of churches.
And he is on point. You hear me? I ain't never heard him say, no, not that scripture. No, he be on it, bro. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. What I admire about Gino Jennings is, and I don't agree with probably, I'd say about 60 to 70% of the stuff that he says, the way he said, I don't agree with him. The issue, what I do admire about him is that he gonna stand on what he believes. He believes it. And because he believes it, he sets a standard for that belief.
Yes.
And then I've never heard him. He interprets the Bible. A lot of times it's wrong, in my opinion.
Right, and that's what I was going to say. He has his interpretation of it, and it doesn't always sit well with me the way he does. But again, everyone's going to have their own interpretation of it. But like you said, he does not back down, and that man has sent. I'm going to say he has sent about 98% of us to hell already.
Yeah, already. The thing is, though, is that he's basing what he says and the rules that he sets, he bases it on his interpretation of what the Bible says. And to me, that's an integral person. That's somebody who's got great integrity because he's not going to say, I don't know about this, so I'm just going to put this in to be safe. He's like, no, this is what the Bible said. This is what I believe that means from what the Bible says. Therefore, this is how we're going to do it.
This is how it happens.
And I can respect that.
100%.
And I think that's what's lacking in our traditional churches today, because there isn't a standard where you're just like, you know what, I just believe this is wrong. And this, or if you were honest with me and said, you know what, the Bible doesn't say this is a sin. However, for this house, this is how we're going to do things. Well, guess what? That's the way I'm going to do it.
Like your parents would say, you tell your parents about something going on to somebody else. I don't care what's happening over there.
Right.
What's happening here is. Yeah.
Yep.
That's me and mine.
And that's respectful to me. And that, to me, here's the twist. I believe it's a sin. The disobedience is a sin.
Yeah. So don't sit up in the people church and do what the heck you want to do.
And that's that, ladies and gentlemen.
But you know what a lot of us folks gonna do? We're gonna ride around until we find the ones that tell us what we want to hear, tell us we can do everything, and we're gonna sit over there and sit in some crap. And again, I don't know if I can blame the member. I think I have to blame the leader of the house.
Well, if you got that many options, that's a problem. Like, we're not talking about small differences. We're not talking about whether smoking or not smoking is a sin, whether drinking or not drinking is a sin. You talking about the pastor and the first gentleman versus you know what I'm saying? It's a pandemic, nigga. But
it's happening out there. So everybody, I think, go.
Where's the standard? Here, wait. Before I know we get out of this, but like, all right. So in math, right? Mm-hmm. There's a standard.
It used to be.
No. It still is.
They just had.
Nope. Don't you dare say his name. Don't you dare say his name. If you say, hey man, 1 × 1 = 2, man. I was going there. Listen, this is what happens, right? There's such a standard in science and mathematics that physicists and mathematicians and scientists who all don't agree with each other, don't like each other from time to time, all saw this one person come in and go, hey man, 1 × 1 = 2, man. And every one of them was like, whoa, nigga.
No.
For real? No, that's not right. And now they had different approaches, and I went down this rabbit hole. They had different approaches as to how they would address that. One of them went back on Joe Rogan's podcast with him. Yes, and did the whole thing.
And explained to him why he was wrong.
Right. And he still didn't believe he was wrong. But Here's the thing. That guy who was on there with him, that came back on with him, does not like Neil deGrasse Tyson, who Howard had the problem with because he sent him the whole thing.
Right.
And when you get a chance, I need you to Google and go on YouTube and watch Neil deGrasse Tyson's response to what Terrence Howard sent him. It's great. But anyway, so those two guys the mathematician who was on there with him does not always see eye to eye with Neil deGrasse Tyson. But the standard stayed the same. He didn't try and get in there and agree with Terrence Howard. He just said, no, that can't be right because of this, that, and the third. And so there's a standard there. So if all the churches, you know what? If this church over here said, you know what, drinking and smoking is a sin, and this church over here said drinking and smoking is not a sin, okay, cool. But you know what we do agree on? Jesus is the Son of God. Well, guess what? Right. Those are trivial issues.
Right.
And those are interpretive issues. Right. But you know what the standard is? Jesus is the Son of God. Okay, cool. So we can come together. We can agree on this.
We can agree, and it comes from the same book. But here's one thing that I've found for every religion, and I don't understand how the world is the way it is today. And the basis for almost every religion is love.
Yeah.
And there are so many of us that would much rather just argue the particulars instead of loving and respecting the other. And that part to me is the biggest problem with religion is you can think this, I can think this, we can disagree. We don't have to argue. I don't have to make you believe what I believe because I have to love you anyway. So what I'm going to do is tell you the information and you say, no, that's not right. All right, I love you. And we can move on. But wars have been started over disagreements over religion.
Not just wars in general, nigga. We talking about. I'm trying to think of a war that did not start.
All of them.
On religion.
All of them. Yeah, all of them. So this is just one of those things where if we
they've also all been started by white men, by the way. But that's another topic.
Yeah. If we can all just agree to love.
Wait, I think we just figured something out. I think what's the line between the bastardization of a Christian belief leading to war and all wars being started by white men? And there was a Muslim brother, I believe, who called them a name. I think, you know what? I'll think of it later. We'll bring it up another time.
We'll put that one in. We'll put that one in the chat.
Yeah, go ahead.
We'll put that one in the chat. But yeah, man, it's just one of those things where I'm like, man, the basis of all of your religions is don't be a jackass, and there are way too many jackasses out there. So whether you are Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Catholic, whatever it is, man, the main thing is don't be an ass. So just don't.
That's
be
right.
an ass.
Don't be an ass. But you know what? Speaking of ass,
well, damn, that's a segue.
I got some game for y'all tonight.
Go ahead and give it to him.
So look here, man. We're gonna go ahead and do this, ladies and gentlemen. This is my bit of game for all the parents out there. This is for all the parents who go to church and they have kids. I'm just going to give you a little piece of game. If your kids are going to vacation Bible school, going on church trips, and it's co-ed, they fucking. I'm just letting you know, all right? There is not a single, listen, yes, your kid too. Them. Your kid too. Yes, your kid too. So my child, yes, she would. Yes, she would. Bent over and is showing everything to more than one of the boys. I'm just letting you know. If every single solitary church trip, if there was even dim lighting, it's going down. It's going down. It's going down. Y'all went to the park and you couldn't find little Timmy and little LaQuisha for like them 5-6 minutes. That's all he needed. Them 5-6. I'm just letting y'all know. So if you want to solve this problem, let me tell you what you do. You let your kids go on the trip with the church. When they all load in the van, you wave goodbye. Tell them the night before how much stuff that you got to do that day, so they don't know that you're going to just pop up at the. I'm gonna tell you. Okay, so we went to the Springs one time, and the Springs is like, I mean, it's nice, beautiful, clear water and all this other stuff. The things that your daughters can do while holding their breath. That's all I'm gonna say. There was a whole lot of debauchery going on out there. I was a good kid. I wasn't involved in any of it. But the amount of debauchery, oh my God, that went on out there, from the little girl who was singing the solo on Sunday, her too, hitting all the high notes. I'm just letting you know. So what you should do, parents, you let them go. Don't just show up. Don't be there when they show up. Don't show up right at the beginning. You got to let them get through the playtime and then the food snack time. And then when they get that last, all right, y'all got an hour left. That's when the mad dash starts. It's like the light's about to come on at the club. You got to hurry up and pick something before the lights come on so you can be able to take it. That's what happens after lunch and they have them juices. They run back off to go play. Guess what? That's what they're going to do. That's where they're running to. They put all the plan in motion up front. Then they had lunch, and now they're going to complete the deal. That's when you need to show up. That's when you need to pop up out there. Be like, hey, what you doing? Just walk up to the picnic table where the person who's supposed to be watching them is at. He going to be on his phone, and he's looking at something that he ain't got no business looking at on Instagram. I promise you. But, so you just look over his shoulder real quick and be like, Brother Johnson. And he going to go, huh? He going to drop his phone. It's going to be cool. Where is Timmy? Oh, he went, and when he says that, I need you to find the one, and look at his daddy. Look at the boy's daddy, and say, where would you go? And he gonna know exactly where Timmy at. You know why? Because Timmy came out of his balls, so he knows. Timmy knows exactly where to go, and Timmy gonna be tucked over there with Sister Johnson's or Sister Mary's little girl over there under them bushes, and that's how you catch him. That's my piece of game. I'm just letting you know now. Your kids on these church trips, they doing the do, and that's the game. You can take it or leave it.
I don't see no lies told. Told in all of that. Because again, we've been around these kids.
I've been doing it my whole life.
Our whole life. We've seen how they got down.
You think my daughter ain't never been on a church trip? You know why? Because her daddy crazy. I'm not rap tight. I love everybody, but I will kill a nigga. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah. We're gonna get up out of here, cousin. We're gonna get up out of here. We are back, folks. We are back.
On it.
Every Wednesday, 8 p.m.
Listen, if you got a question about tonight's topic, or if you've got a comment, you don't agree with something that we said, or maybe you want to just add, feel free. Like, share, comment, and subscribe on this post, and that way we will interact with you. All right, we're gonna pull these questions. We want to see what y'all got to say, and we'll address it if it's good enough. All right.
So Wednesday nights, 8 p.m.
Wednesday nights, 8 p.m.
You're gonna see these faces every week.
Every week.
So, cousin.
Yes, sir.
We haven't been canceled yet.
Not
We're
yet.
gonna do this again next week.
We got to do it again next week. Let's get it, boy.
Yes, indeed.
All right, love you, boy.
Love you too, man. Love y'all. Y'all be good.
Peace.
Peace.